If you're a pub, you've got to make the most of these rare sunny days. And I've come to the Old Horse in Leicester for this edition of the Food and Beer Show, and it's all about barbecues. And out the back there, they've got a fantastic beer garden and a perfect barbecue. And I'm going to cook them up a rather tasty dish to go with some of their great beers. This is sausage and mash burger, and I put the mash in the middle of the burger so the burger doesn't dry out, and you cut into it and the mash oozes out. The barbecue coals are white hot, so we're ready to go on that. I've got my pork mince there. I've got mashed potato, which has got whole grain mustard in it, butter, milk and seasoning, chopped onions. We've got some chopped sage there. We have parsley and chives, black pepper, salt, and finally, but not least, my special magic ingredient, the beer. In with the onions. Sage, parsley and chives, black pepper, plenty of that, and salt. Now, just a tiny soupçon of beer. This is like my magic dust that just adds a very subtle but very special flavour. And just mix it all together. The best way to do this is just to get stuck in with your hands. So the next step is to make up the patties, and to do that we just get a good handful of mix. You can obviously make these as big or as small as you want, and we're making a sort of rough nest, and the mash is going to nestle in the middle of that, which is our next step. Good spoonful of mash. It's much better if you chill this in the fridge before you use it, it's easier to handle. Right, in with the mash, and then just on with the lid, which means just another piece of the burger mix on top. And what you have to do now is just make sure that it's properly sealed up all around the edges. We don't want any mash leaking out there, not too much anyway. And there we have our first sausage and mash burger ready to go on the barbecue. Right, we've given these a quick brush with oil and then it's straight on the barbie. Right, these fellas are just about ready. So now we're going to cut into the middle. And this is the magic of the mash. Because what it does, by stuffing the burger, we keep the middle from drying out. Because all that has to do is warm up, not actually cook through as such. So it stops overcooking. And it also keeps the moisture in there as well. Beautiful. Okay, the proof is well and truly in the pudding, or the burger in this case, and we're going to see how the customers react to my special beer and barbecue food matching.
Very, very moist, and this is very smooth, so it goes together quite nicely.
Really great combination. I think I prefer the slightly stronger beer.
When you swallow the burger with the beer, that is a little bit fizzy. I think it's a really interesting flavor and sensation for my tongue.
I like the mash in the middle of the burger.
Nice with the beer? So Kevin, borrowed your barbecue and your beer garden for this, so really got to give you a taste. So have a try of that. The old sausage and mash burger. Good sip of the beer to wash it down. And tell us what you think.
What are you doing Saturday? That's very nice.
Well, I reckon that went down a storm. And here's a few more of my favourite barbecue tips. These are not oranges. These are actually sweet potatoes, and they've been cooked in fresh orange juice, some lager, a cinnamon stick, and a few cloves. Classic Peruvian way, actually without the beer. That's my addition. What we're going to do now is just pat them dry on this kitchen paper. You can keep them stored in the fridge in this liquid. It's like a marinating liquor. It's beautiful. So, pat them dry, brush them with a little bit of oil, season with the old sea salt and a good twist of black pepper, and then straight onto the barbecue for a fantastic side vegetable dish. Now, I've actually used Pilsner Urquell in this. It's one of my favourite Pilsner lagers. It's got a real full flavour to it. But you can actually use any lager you fancy, and just a little splash in with the orange juice is a lovely little contrast to the sweetness of the orange juice. So the way I prepared these potatoes was just getting the orange juice up to a simmer with just a splash of the beer, only about that much. I chucked in the cinnamon stick, put in the cloves, and simmered these until they're tender. And then just cool them down in the actual cooking liquid. And you can keep them in the fridge for days if you want to. Okay, so our char grilled, orange and beer marinated sweet potatoes are ready. And what a fantastic barbecue side dish they make. And just for a finishing touch, let's just spoon a little bit of that marinating juice over them and finish with a little garnish of sliced, chopped coriander. Love it. Right, this is my special beer marinade for fish, and it's perfect because again it keeps the moisture in there and it'll develop a lovely flavour, marinated for about 12 hours in the fridge. First of all, the Hoegaarden, and it's got that curacao orange peel in, it's got the coriander in there, very fish friendly flavours. I've got swordfish in there, perfect for this marinade. Next, chilies. If you want it really hot, put the seeds in. Next, good squeeze of lime juice. And then for that authentic Asian flavour, coriander. And finally, lemongrass. And I'll just quickly show you how to prepare lemongrass. Take off the bottom bit, take off the top bit. Smash it with your knife, with the back of the knife like that. Peel off the coarse outer layers, and you'll be just left with the tender inner stalk. We'll just quickly chop that up, and that goes in there. And overnight, that is going to develop fantastic flavour. So, this swordfish has been marinating overnight. We're just going to drain it, pat it dry, brush with oil, season with the sea salt and freshly ground black pepper, and straight on to the hot barbecue. And grilling swordfish on the barbecue really is that simple, and the marinade just makes it that extra bit special. So barbecues aren't just about sausages and burgers, and a perfect way to end and give it a real summery flavour is with fresh fruit kebabs. We've got on strawberry, we've got banana and pineapple, but the choice is yours. And for a lovely little basting sauce, I'm just going to get some maple syrup into my little cup there, and then a little squeeze of honey, and then the magic ingredient, some fruit beer from Belgium. And that has got all kinds of strawberries in there, we've got cherries in there, absolutely perfect. We'll give that a little stir, get it all combined together, and then with your best pastry brush, just give it a good old basting. Those sugars are going to caramelize as well over the barbecue, and just keep basting and keep turning. Beautiful. And these would be fabulous just served with a bit of mascarpone or some creme fraiche or some whipped up double cream or even some ice cream. Choice is yours. This is my cheese and beer stuffed steak, and it's a great way to have melted cheese with your steak without it falling through the barbecue grill, because it's going inside. So what I've done is I made a little opening there and then made a pocket with a very sharp knife, being careful not to pierce the outside of the meat if you can possibly help it. Next, grated cheddar cheese. Then good spoonful of whole grain English mustard and a good slug of full flavoured English ale. I've got Old Speckled Hen here. It's got a fantastic big malty flavour that's going to complement the steak perfectly. Okay, now we're ready to stuff the steak. Now the beer is actually going to start marinating the steak from the inside, which I think is rather clever. Okay, we've stuffed the steaks. I've got 2 skewers that have been soaking in water just so they don't burn. Just going to break the ends off, and I'm just going to seal up the little hole we made there so it doesn't all come leaking out. And where's the other one? Perfect. Next, just brush with oil. Plenty of sea salt and freshly ground black pepper, and straight onto the barbecue. And here we are, our beautiful barbecued, marinated from the inside cheese, mustard and beer sirloins.